You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, so why don't we just go ahead and get started with Pac-Man Jersey Jim.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Pac-Man Jersey Jim again. Being that I live in Jersey, it takes me a little bit to get the press conference things. And I just seen something on Jordan Love and his press conference. And I love the guy. Don't mistake me on that. He is our quarterback. He's going to be our franchise guy for maybe the next 10 years. But I found something that he said a little weird. He's saying one thing and doing another. He's talking about, it's a team effort. And, we just had to do everything we had to win. But I'm sure I'm not the only guy that noticed this. With like 15 seconds ago, he tried playing hero ball, throwing it in the middle of the end zone, and I'm pretty sure that guy was like smothered by like 2 Texans, when all you really needed to do was to, get another first down, maybe another 5 yards, and put a little faith in a kicker, which I get it. He's been in the league 2 years with a non-existent force, a kicker. So I wanted your thoughts on this. Like, do you think he's trying to play hero ball? Is he trying to be too much like Brett Favre? Because I don't think Brett Favre would have done that. Everybody tries to compare him to Brett Favre. I get it, the cannon, he's taking shots, but Brett Favre also wasn't naive when it came, when he thought he can make a play, he would make a play. This guy's trying to make a play when you didn't really need to make a play. And I really, personally, as a Packers fan, I just want to win. I don't need you to be a hero. So, your thoughts, hopefully everybody else will have a little take on this. And, good win today. Like I said, good win today. My son's birthday. He's happy as shit. And go Pack, go. Peace.
I'm glad you brought it up because that's a large part of what I'm talking about tomorrow, and that is the comparisons to Brett Favre just being completely inaccurate. I mean, I've very briefly mentioned it and kind of talked about it or whatever. It's gotten so out of control. I mean, people who are... It's coming from 2 different sides now, the Brett Favre thing. Number one is... a negative side, which is freaking guy over here is throwing a bunch of picks like Brett Favre, which is denigrating to Brett Favre and is nonsense because Favre didn't really look like this. He wasn't this bad. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Brett Favre did not throw this many interceptions. The other is the positive side, which is there's nothing wrong with what Jordan's doing, because he's playing like Brett Favre, and Brett Favre was great. And again, I'll tell you the same thing. No, Brett Favre was great, but he never looked like this. It's not to say he never, as in he never threw this many interceptions. It's not necessarily true. The Brett Favre that we know and love didn't throw this many interceptions. The only times he did is when Brett Favre looked like crap, and we all said, holy crap, this guy sucks. Like, what is going on with him? So, yeah, is he playing too much hero ball? Yeah, he is. Again, I go into context about that as well. I don't believe that he's thrown the most interceptions. I know numerically he has, but as far as turnover-worthy plays, how many times has he thrown a ball that coulda, woulda, shoulda been intercepted? It's not as many times as everybody else. So there's, I guess, just trying to clarify the issue. On one hand, let's be very specific about what we're talking about, how many things he's done wrong, what percentage of the time he's making bad decisions. And from there, let's be very honest about the fact that this is not okay. It's not true that we're just spoiled by Aaron Rodgers and this is just us not understanding that this is what a real quarterback look. Nope, that's not true. This is bad. It's not okay. It's not acceptable, and it needs to get better. And I'm hopeful that it will, because the other thing that's wrong, there's a lot of narratives that are completely wrong, is, well, this is what we knew what we were getting into when we got Jordan Love because he's always been this way. That's completely untrue. He didn't play this way throughout his career in Green Bay prior to this. He didn't play this way in college. So a lot of people just throwing random stuff out there based on halfway knowledge of things without even thinking to look it up, just throwing it around because it sounds good or something. Got to knock that crap off. But yes, at the end of the day, he's got to play better, period. I shouldn't even say he's got to play better. The interceptions have got to chill out. Everything else is fantastic. Touchdowns are like, you want to talk about not Brett Favre? Literally, Brett Favre has never had this high of a touchdown percentage, and Rodgers has only done it twice. So the touchdowns are out of control in the positive column. He's also improving his accuracy as far as his completion percentage, his adjusted completion percentage. His throws are looking beautiful. That throw to Tucker Kraft was incredible, and there's been plenty of others. So it's not all bad, but it is a problem. It's a serious issue, and he does need to get better at the hero ball and just it's not even so much the hero ball, because hero ball can be cool sometimes. It's just bad decisions. I want him to make less bad decisions. That's about it. The other funny thing about it is, we always think, well, he made a bad decision, and so he'll learn from that, right? It's another thing people just say, oh, he'll learn. Well, why do you think he'll learn from that? The reason why he's not going to learn from that is because, if you didn't notice, he threw balls like that 7, 8, 9 different times since his last interception, and they were all completed, and they were big plays, and it reaffirmed the fact that he should have thrown those, and they were good decisions. And then occasionally he's going to throw that exact same, because he doesn't know. It's not like he's looking at it going, well, this one's going to be a pick, and then throws it. That ball to Christian Watson was a routine throw. That was the right guy to throw to. He threw it on time, in rhythm, ready to rock and roll. Ball sailed on him because he's not only falling backwards, but falling away, and I'm pretty sure his arm got hit, and the ball got picked. There you go. So I don't know how, the bottom line is, I don't know how that necessarily gets fixed, because the vast majority of the time when he throws these quote-unquote hero balls, it's successful. And there's no way to just surgically remove the bad ones. Like, yeah, no, do all the hero stuff, just not like the ones that are about to get picked. Like, well, okay, fair enough, I guess. I don't know how that works.
Hey, Ryan. Trucker Bob here.
Howdy.
Very happy to see that the Packers won today. I would like to make a comment.
Okay.
I want to thank the Texans for allowing us to win. They were down at our end of the field. It was 3rd down and 15 yards to go.
Yeah.
All they had to do was run
the ball.
The runner up the middle.
Right.
And Green
Make
Bay
us use our
would have
timeout.
had to use its final timeout. Instead, they did a down and out of 10 yards. If he catches it, he gets knocked out of bounds, stops the clock. If he doesn't catch it, it stops the clock. Either way, it doesn't score a touchdown or get them a first down. Green Bay now gets to keep their timeout, which they used with 3 seconds left in the game so they could kick the winning field goal. Thank you, Texans. I love that play call. It allowed us to win the ball game. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Trucker Bob out.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw, a couple counter arguments to that in terms of, if you get a touchdown there, the game's over, so it made sense from that standpoint of put the ball in your quarterback's hands, let him go win. But then even that, you look at the route, not that he had to throw to that guy, but that is part of the route. And then CJ Stroud making the decision to throw that, there's never any excuse to throw that ball. None. The ball that he threw was an out route where either he doesn't catch it and the clock stops, or he does catch it and he's going to go out of bounds. There's a very small chance that he catches it, goes down, and and the clock continues to roll, but he's still going to be short of the sticks. So it was it did not make really any sense. I guess you could have bled some time, but again, to Trucker Bob's main point, the rare chance that is the scenario as opposed to just run it up the middle, which could also give you 10 yards anyways. But just run it up the middle. It's a chip shot field goal. Get another 2 yards, recenter the ball, and kick a field goal. Just not a good decision at all.
Hey, Ryan. Trucker Bob here.
Hey.
With the second comment.
Okay.
I love the Texans who scored the touchdown and tried to do a Lambeau Leap, and our great Packer fans kept knocking him off before he could get up on the wall. I think the guy tried 2 or 3 times to jump up there, and the guy just pushed him right off. What a bunch of great Packer fans. You don't get to do a Lambeau Leap in Green Bay, you nut job. Go, Pat, go. Trucker Bob out.
I'm with you. I agree. I mean, that's been long discussed and debated among Packer fans. Would you let him jump up? And I do think, there's the whole Midwest nice thing. I think a lot of Packer fans, it's kind of, I'm upset, but you son of a gun. All right, come on up here, Very rarely do you find a guy, it does take some guts, to on camera in front of all these people with the guy trying to celebrate with the Texans fan to just bow up immediately and say, get out of here now, and start, smashing him in the face. Like right in the face. Like, bro, screw you. You're not coming up here. It was the right decision. He did the right thing. I'm just saying, when it comes down to it, who's actually going to be the one to do it? Like to think we all would, but I think there's been way too much of the shucks kind of mentality, as opposed to the no, you're not coming up here. That is not going to happen. So I agree. Forever legend, and I hope that he gets his 15 minutes of fame. He should be doing the media tours, man. He should be going around getting his name out there, put his face on a T-shirt, sell it, wear it, just be that guy forever. That's a cool experience to be in that situation, to be that. Did you see how jacked that guy was, by the way? See, the other problem is, even though you've got a bit of an advantage being on the high ground and him trying to hoist himself up on a wall, these are NFL football players, man. These guys are jacked out of their mind. Did you see that guy? The guy that pushed him off the wall had ridiculously massive arms. So he's uniquely qualified to push football players around, that's for sure. Nico, what's up?
Well, it's Victory Sunday afternoon here in southern Utah, Idaho.
Where do you live?
And I tell you, if we could ever just not do dumb things, we would just lay waste to teams. I mean, what did we gift them? All of their points today, or most of them?
Pretty much.
But, great team win. Couple dumb plays. Defensively, I tell you what, man. I know that he was minus a couple, he was minus Nico Collins. By the way, cool name. But still, good quarterbacks get it to the open guys that are on the field, Last year, Love made a bunch of rookies look good, and it's CJ's job to do that now.
Sure.
But just defensively, I was very impressed. They held them to under 100 yards passing.
Ridiculous.
They gassed a little on the ground. And like I said, if we don't make some dumb mistakes, that doesn't even matter. But I'll take holding a guy under 100 yards passing. Just a great win. And I tell you what, I don't know what off the field issues our new kicker has, but I guarantee you he wasn't thinking about them after the game. Man, what a thing! Rolling here and 3 days later, kick a winner. 2 of them actually. Just if he could just be consistent, if he could just be like kickers used to be, where they kind of made everything under 50, and was like halfway decent on the ones over 50, then I'm okay with that. I did notice one of my buddies who was a Niners fan came over. We watched my game, then we watched his game. And as hard as it was, I was kind of rooting for the Niners because I just hate the Chiefs.
Sure.
But I did notice that our old kicker missed one of their extra points. Yay! So I'm glad.
Well, it's better than that. He drilled the 55-yarder and then missed the extra point. So that is classic Anders Carlson.
We got the kicker we got. I tell you what, very happy with his team. Tucker Kraft is still an animal. Jaden Reed, he had that one just dropped in his hand. I thought at first he had to outstretch it, but man, when they showed the replay, it was just like Love just placed it in his hands from 50 yards away. And, that's one of those catches that's tough to catch because you hit the ground with so much speed. But I tell you what, great fight of the team. The defense, even though they couldn't stop the run, sure did stop the pass. I'll take that any day. If you tell me that from here on out we're going to hold every team to under 100 yards passing, I'd be like, okay, I'm good with that. So great victory. It'll be great to see how Green Bay Light does tonight. The Jets, because now they're just Green Bay Light. So even the same colors. Go back up.
Yeah, I was very happy with the defense. Mentioned it several times, I suppose. It's 2 weeks in a row by my count. I don't know if everybody agrees or disagrees with that assessment, but that's where I'm at with it. If they keep it up, holy cow, man. Sky's the limit for this team in general. Especially, if the defense can just keep doing what it's doing, and if Jordan can dial back the interceptions a touch, yeah, I almost feel like I'm asking for too much because that's just unfair. Nobody should have to be subject to that. Why don't we take a break? We'll come back and hear from Bill in South Carolina.
Hey, Ryan, there's Bill in South Carolina.
What's up?
And a few hours after the game, like I was saying a few weeks ago, looks like we're just not going to make anything easy on us fans. But that's okay. We got the win.
Yep.
Really excellent job by Dobbs. Dobbs had a great game. And also the kicker, to have a kicker and have confidence in the kicker now, to not put the pressure on having to get an extra 20 or yards in order to maybe make a field goal. That's going to be huge coming down the line. So that's really encouraging.
Yes.
The defense played great considering all the situations they were in. And also my play of the game is the fans when the Texans tried to take a Lambeau Leap. That was fantastic. They said, nope, not here. Ain't happening. All right, Ryan, as always, go Pack Go. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'm running out of things to add here because we're touching on the same issues, but great work by Mr. Big Arms. And that's why it's part of why I said it's almost unfair because not that I know we've got a great kicker, but I do feel like we've got sort of a, dare I say, Mason Crosby type kicker. Mason missed some. He missed kicks. He missed maybe even an extra point here and there. You never know, but generally you felt good about him. He was a baseline kicker, and there was no undue fear where an extra point felt like a 50-50 coin toss. So, yeah, with having a kicker, with having an incredible punter, with having a great play caller, with having a great quarterback, again, minus the interceptions, which is one of the things I asked for, with having an above-average pass blocking line, with having Josh Jacobs as your running back, with having the players at wide receiver that we have, with having Tucker Kraft absolutely emerge, and then, adding in, oh, by the way, can we get some of the interceptions down and keep the defense playing at a high level like it has been with no, regression or anything? That just seems unfair, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Hey, Ryan, Steve again. Calling after I listened to your response to my call, so I wasn't sure you're going to get it. And I was a little behind. I didn't listen to yesterday, but my phone's always slow. But you're going to hear me make mention of it again, or you already have because you're listening to this now, so you already have.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't have to spend any time on it. But I do have a rebuttal. I want to commend you on how you looked at it, but I want to say that you made a big mistake in the fact that I think you're looking at turnover differentials for the team, which includes offensive turnovers into the equation. And I'm not talking about the offense at all.
I'm talking solely about what the defense does in terms of turnovers. And that's different. So if you say, hey, the 2011 season was the best season we did, well, that was a season where we took the ball away a bunch, but we didn't get the ball up at all. What I'm talking about is just what we took away.
No, that's what I was talking about, was takeaways. It wasn't differential in 2011. That was when we had our most interceptions, I believe.
And I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but I looked at a couple of different sites and they all gave me the same numbers. So I think we're looking at the situation different. I'm only talking about what the defense is doing in terms of what it's doing in takeaways. Now, I know today's game, we didn't have any takeaways. But as takeaways go, and as teams that are doing it well, it's a system. And that's another point that I have, is that I think you're looking at in terms of a player. You got a player that gets 12 or 13 takeaways because of all these picks or fumble recoveries and whatever else he does. And that one player, doing that again year after year after year, that was just a lucky year. But a team can have a system in which it gets a lot of takeaways. That doesn't mean you don't have players that are skilled at it. You can look at a guy like a Peanut Tillman. The guy was great at creating takeaways. He didn't always get the takeaways. He created a lot of takeaways, which means you have an individual who can give other players the opportunity to. So if we have a head coach or a defensive coordinator and we start to have some players who are being trained up to and in a way that they are more focused on creating the opportunities to get a takeaway, that we can have more going on. Hold on, my time's almost up, so I'm going to call you back.
All right. I will let you finish that, but just to be clear so far, the things that you're assuming I meant are not what I meant. I meant turnovers as a team. I mean, it works on an individual level and as a team level. So, I mean, it works either way, but I also meant as a team. Well, I'll just let you finish your piece here.
All right. So I'm back. Don't have much more to say on it. I think that's what I think what I'm seeing is a defense that is building up the ability to have a takeaway mentality. We have a takeaway head coach, and we're going to get trained to get more takeaways. This doesn't mean that we're going to have a great take or differential, because Jordan Love's playing like Brett Favre right now. He's throwing up a lot of picks, so he's scoring a lot of touchdowns. So we're winning games. We're going to take it, yes, because we have a defense that this week didn't rely on the takeaway. Its takeaways was 3 and outs. We're just going to stop you from having plays. And there was opportunities to get picks. But we played against a team whose offensive players were good enough that they were able to turn themselves into defenders. There was 3, maybe 4 possible turnovers we could have got where I felt that the offensive player played as a defensive player that knocked the ball away. It was a go-for-go, 50-50 kind of shot where both players were at the same time. So we'll see. We'll see how the season goes. I think we can be a big turnover team. And, yes, we don't have to be some huge number just on our defensive takeaways, but we can be solid and we can get 1 or 2 average a game and play solidly the way we are. I know we got beat up on the run, but let's be honest, he didn't get 100 yards back. They didn't get 100 yards passing. Let your running back have 115 yards. Go for it, buddy. Your whole team can have 170 yards on the ground. Go for it, because you got 89 yards passing. Defense has to work in different ways against different teams. It doesn't have to be one static thing. We have a defense, I think, that can do a lot of stuff, and we have a defensive coordinator still trying to figure it out. I caught you on the other one when I said we might have to change some players around to fit the new system. But I really like the change. I like the way that they look, and we can trust them to do the things we need them to do. So So I've rattled on for almost my 3 whole minutes here. So I will talk to y'all later. Go Pack, go, bud. Take it easy. Bye.
Yeah, so I don't think anything that I said needs to change. I mean, everything that I said, I think I'll just kind of stand on. Again, you mentioned kind of a system or this, that, or the other, and I did acknowledge that I think a team can be better at turnaways. Turnovers, takeaways. There we go. Whew. But I think that there's a lot of variability in it. I think a team that has especially unusually high numbers is a combination of being good at takeaways and then having a real high lucky streak. So, when Harvard did the study and said that 50% of takeaways come down to luck, I mean, that's averaged, right? So you might have some people with crap luck. You might have some people with, 60, 70, 80, 90%, who knows? So if you're doing a good job at takeaways and you have a really high luck rate, that's how you get really big numbers. So my pushback was on the idea that they could have enough talent to produce a really high turnover rate, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think you can be talented enough. I don't even know what the number would be, but let's say top 2, 3 in Packers history or whatever. I don't think that's going to happen without continued luck. And the evidence for that is the fact that as talented as you might say that the Packers are at taking it away because of Halfley, because of turnover, because of pressure, because of corners, whatever, it does not replicate from year to year. It just doesn't. So again, I just I'm happy that we've had a lot of turnovers, but I don't put a lot of stock in that is the reason why we're good at football, because I don't think it's something that's going to be maintainable. I think there are a lot of skills that can translate from week to week and year to year, and a lot of them don't. I mean, that's why people get so mad when guys like Jair have great years and then don't repeat it again. And it's like, yeah, he's never going to repeat that again. There are guys that have really good years that don't repeat it. In fact, I mean, who's been a corner that's been the top corner in the NFL for, let's say, top 5 for 5 years? It's a trick question. There isn't one. I don't even need to look it up. It's not a thing. There's variability to everything. A lot of, especially when you're talking about being the number one at something, it's not impossible, especially at some positions when you're talking like quarterback or pass rusher, maybe whatever. But it's very hard, to replicate that high level of success, especially when it's a position that is kind of flooded with a lot of talent, as opposed to, a position where there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are mega elite compared to everybody else in the field. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of variability in everything, especially turnovers, though. They're specifically high in luck contributing to things, whereas other things, that's why pass rushers, why are they able to replicate so much? Well, it's because how much of what they do is talent compared to just, the quarterback fell down and then you went over there and tagged him and you got the sack. And part of it could even be because you got all the other people around you. So if something stupid happens, how often is it you compared to one of the other guys on the line or whoever else is bringing pressure? You create your own luck in that situation. I'm just kind of rationalizing why some of the things are the way they are, but the bottom line is they are. And turnovers are a luck thing. Not 100%, but more than 50%. And when you have unusually high numbers, I don't have faith that it's going to continue. It can for a period of time. It will not indefinitely. And I don't care, you can if we kept Halfley and Jair and McKinney and all these guys, if we kept them for 3-4 years, is it going to maintain for 3-4 years? The answer is no. The answer is absolutely not, because the turnovers that they have, a high turnover rate, is not replicable, whatever. So I don't want to completely diminish the talent aspect, but I'm going to stand on my position that luck plays a major factor, and that's why I don't trust it to be able to continue indefinitely. All right, let's take our break here. Testing. Choppy. Ready to rock and roll. All right, we'll take a break. I recorded another, 15, 20 minutes and then realized it was all doing the stupid thing again. So I will be re-answering a couple questions, but I'll just endure it because I love you guys. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? It's Aaron from Eau Claire. My wife and I were at the game today at Lambeau. It was our first Lambeau game, watching the Packers, so it was pretty exciting. Obviously, a great ending to that game, and being there in person made it all the sweeter when they kicked that final field goal to victory. But yeah, it was a pretty much a perfect Lambeau experience. We got to hang out around the stadium ahead of time and enjoy just the culture around there, and then go in, and we had some pretty cool seats, kind of a corner of one of the end zones, up several rows. But yeah, it was really fun. We definitely made a point to get really loud when the other team was on offense. And I have to say that I think it worked. I think that it was really fun to watch the defense actually playing really pretty well. If we didn't gift them, 10 points through those kind of mistakes early in the game, I don't think this is even that close. So, anyways, it was super fun to walk away with a victory, and hope everyone else enjoyed it too. And yeah, if I think of more things that we encountered at the game, I'll let you know. But for now, that's pretty good. So yeah, we had a great time, and yeah, go Pack go.
It is a very cool feeling when you can be in the stands and you're screaming and hooting and hollering and all that stuff, and you can see the quarterback having to cover his ears and he's having a hard time getting the call out and everything. That is a very cool feeling. So I'm glad you guys got to do that, experience that, and had a good time doing it. AA Ron Part 2, what's up?
Hey, I did think of a couple things that I wanted to mention since we were at the game. That throw to Tucker Kraft for the touchdown was unbelievable. I mean, that looked like it was about to get picked off. So yeah, it was fun to watch that in person from the stands, and gosh, that was just such a beautiful touchdown. Then the other thing was, man, I think Daniel Whelan is really amazing, and really saved our butts in this game because we had so many punts. And, it was so cool to see it in person because he would punt the thing up in the air and it's like, okay, cool. And then it goes super, super high. And then eventually, once the crowd started to see how far it was going, everyone started cheering because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. You punted it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. So I could kind of feel the crowd almost being surprised at how far it went.
I feel like that's what we do at home too, because you can't see the ball. You just track the camera, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting. And the best thing is when you see when the returner finally comes into frame and you see him booking it backwards. That's when you know it was a good punt. That's a great feeling.
But yeah, he I think has to be one of the stars of the game. It was really fun. It's so funny to say that it was fun to watch the punter punt of all things, but it honestly was one of the highlights of watching that game. Super cool. And then I will say on the two picks that Love threw, they were both pretty bad decisions. And even being there in person, it made it even easier to see how head scratching those were. But I guess the first one was a little bit tipped up in the air or whatever. But yeah, it just wasn't a good decision.
And then the second one, can't remember. But yeah, it was one of those things, like, even just watching it from the stands, you're like, oh, that's a bad decision. Like, you could just tell.
Yeah.
But in the end, they persevered. They got it together, and that's a good football team they beat. And I thought most impressive was, like, C.J. Stroud really didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, really at all. The only momentum they had in their offense was their running game. And I thought the Packers defense stifled Stroud really nicely. And he's a great quarterback. So hats off to the defense and Jeff Hafley. But yeah, super fun. So yeah.
Yeah, again, one of the interceptions I've kind of resigned to being maybe not quite as bad, the one to Christian Watson, largely just because I don't know if he got hit as he threw, but it was close. It was very close. And either way, it's one of those things where if he didn't have an immediate pressure in his face where he's not only fading away but falling to his side and possibly being hit, if there was no pressure there and he could just plant his feet and deliver that, that's probably a good ball. I can't know for sure, but that's probably a good ball. So it really just comes down to one really boneheaded decision. And again, I didn't go back and watch it necessarily. I saw a very short clip of the QB school going over that play. Sounds like more nonsense rationalization, protecting the quarterback, circling the wagons kind of a thing, where, shouldn't have done it. It sounded like the whole rationalization came down to like, well, he tricked him. Like, okay. Sorry, that's not a good enough excuse for me. That's what defenses do. They try to trick you, and then if you're a good quarterback, you don't get tricked. But yeah. And yeah, defense did a great job. Some conflicting feelings about the run defense, but either way, there's no doubt that, C.J. Stroud having his worst or second worst performance of his entire career, it says a lot. It really does. Actually, you know what? I haven't looked at. What did C.J. Stroud get graded at? So he actually did have some bad games last year, some real bad games. This year he hasn't had any except this one, and it wasn't real bad, but it was his only passing grade below a 60. It was a 59.5 right there. And again, I don't even think he was that bad. It wasn't good, but he didn't do anything super wrong. There was just nothing to do. Under pressure all day long, nobody's open, just a dominant performance.
Ryan,
hey.
Happy Victory Monday.
Thank
It's
you.
Beer Cheese Benny.
What's up?
Listen, I'm stuck between thinking that we didn't deserve to win that game, and I'm also thinking, well, we did everything that we could to win the game. So, anyways, Houston, you have a problem. Green Bay, you have a kicker and pressure for once. The D-line did a great job today, man, just bringing pressure on Stroud. And to be honest with you, man, I felt like the Texans, like, we made them look silly, right? Like, they really couldn't do anything. If it weren't for us, like, we would have blown them out. Like, if it weren't for, and Jordan Love needs to fix these freaking picks. Like, just quit it, man. He had, I don't remember who in the flat on that first pick, man. It's not like the
and that was, again, I'm not trying to just make a bunch of excuses for him, but you just felt like in the beginning of the game, they probably had that scripted. They assumed that it'd be open. He saw what he thought was a great defensive alignment. He's like, yeah, this is going to be easy. And they do that all day long. They throw those quick little routes like that all day, and they feast on them. He never looked in any other direction. And that's the thing is that's uncharacteristic of Jordan. He's a wild man. He's a gunslinger. He throws some ill-advised passes. He'll throw into triple coverage. He'll throw, that pass to Watson felt like a Jordan pick. That first pick did not feel like Jordan. That felt like he was just not thinking, never even thought to go to his next read. He just stared down his receiver, threw it, and it was like, what are you doing? That one was very uncharacteristic. It was the worst one, but it's also the one that I feel like, I have confidence we're not going to see very many of those. They're going to happen. It happened to Rodgers very rarely, but it happened where, maybe once or twice a year, you just go, what are you doing? But we'll see how it goes.
It was collapsing. And also, dude, way to go, Eric Wilson, man. Like, I've always liked that guy, dude. And when Quay went down, I thought, oh, maybe this could be a good thing. Like, I don't like that he's hurt, but very good. Like, Eric Wilson, every time he gets in there, he makes a play. And, it's like LaFleur always speaks. I know it's coach speak, but he's like, next man up. But, like, that dude takes that seriously, man. And we need to see more Eric Wilson. I don't know why we just, like, at some point you have to look at Eric Wilson and say, we got to get this guy in the game more. But overall, dude, I'll take a win no matter what. We got to clean it up because I'm going to be there next week in Jacksonville.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm going to be there. And it better look...
Bro, you didn't even invite me? You know how much I love Florida. Come on, man. Hook a brother up. Let's go. I mean, we can get separate beds. It doesn't have to be weird. I'm not saying we got to, like, spoon or anything. I'm just saying I come down, hang out, have a good time. Fine. You know what? It's fine. I'm good enough for you to call my telephone number, but not good enough to take me on vacation with you. I get it. Thanks, Beer Cheese Benny.
Just for me, okay? Yeah, dude, this is just amazing, man. Just the resilience of this team, just to keep, like, just being gritty, man, and just keep battling it out. And Josh Jacobs, dude, like, my buddy and I called that, like he's gonna get his first receiving touchdown today, and he got it, man. I freaked out. I was like, let's go! But just how amazing was it that McManus, dude, he comes in literally that week, and he gets a walk-off, man. And, like, when was the last time a kicker got to do the Lambeau Leap? That was pretty cool. But anyways, my 3 minutes is coming up. If I think of anything else to say, I'll call in later. This has been Beer Cheese Benny from South Carolina, originally from Wisconsin. Go, Pack, go.
Dude, Beer Cheese is jacked up, man. I appreciate that. No, it feels good. I love having I love the confidence in that, too. That first, like, you knew he was going to get iced. They call the timeout, and he just walks up, and just that, the smoothness of it. Not that I know anything about it, but it was just something about that first kick that made me feel so good. It was just so easy and just like, I'm just going to dink this thing right through. No big deal. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but watching that, I was like, oh, that felt real easy. I don't know. I wasn't watching the practice one like, oh, is it gonna? It was just screwing around here. Like, you guys realize this is not like a long kick, right? Like, there's no big deal. This is what pro kickers do all the time. We're like, yeah, shut up and make the kick. Like, don't screw with me right now, okay? Don't even do that nonsense. And then, yeah, they to not only, first of all, everything about that day was amazing. He's drilling like 65-yarders in warm-up. I keep seeing pictures of 61, 65, 66. He's crushing these things. And then he hits the extra points. Then he hits the warm-up like it's nothing. Then the snapper buries the ball into the ground, and I'm thinking, this is freaking how we lose. I cannot believe this. There's no words for how angry I am that this is how it's going to end. And he just, takes a little half-step breather, slow down, just step, kick, no big deal, crushes it. Dude deserved a Lambeau Leap like nothing else, and like I said, I think reports that Daniel Whelan had done it as well, and he absolutely deserved it. We need to make that a regular thing. We need to get the specialists up there. I don't know if I said this on the podcast or not, but I think it'd be great the next time Daniel Whelan kicks like a 70-yard kick, just run right up and do a Lambeau Leap. It's just, I think you should. I think it'd be funny.
Hey, Beer Cheese Benny again. Yeah, you already knew. A couple minutes later, calling in.
It's all good.
Again, just excited on a Victory Monday. The 3-minute mark saying it, just, I get it out. I try to get out everything I can as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was thinking is, man, for as bad as Jordan was, for the most part, I mean, he was actually pretty good. Just at the end, he was clutch. I mean, he got us into the position where we needed to win the game. So, another thing I'm thinking is that, dude, if we can win a game with 3 turnovers or whatever it was, or by losing the turnover battle or whatever you want to call it, dude, we can win any game if we can win a game where we did all that.
Yeah, we were -3 in turnovers against one of the top teams in football. I don't know what else you need to know.
So, this team is only going to get better, man. But another thing I was going to talk about is Matt LaFleur really pissed me off today.
Okay.
We've got to stop doing these little end arounds, these little reverses, man. Like, I understand it.
First of all, I gotta pick on you a little bit because this does crack me up, and I did this last time too. The fan base hated him for doing it. This was like, I don't know, last year, earlier this year, whatever it was. Hated him. And it got to the point where eventually I was like, okay, like it works. And the fans are lying when they're like, oh, it doesn't work. Stop doing it. It's nonsense. Of course it works. Just he does it too much. And, it's like you get to a point where like you do it and it works. You do it and it works. You do it and it doesn't work. And then it's like, I'm going to do it again. And then it's like, I'm going to do it again. It's like that third time I'm going to smack you in the head. Like, come on, dude. This year it's been working nonstop. This year it has been dominant. It didn't work today, but it has worked every other time. And to not try it would be nonsense because it works really, really well, especially against a very good defense where you're struggling to throw the ball and you're struggling to run the ball and you got to do something else. Now, maybe he didn't need to do it 3 times. I'll grant you that. But can we please not pretend that it never works, it doesn't work, and Matt LaFleur's... Let's just not forget, like choose to forget, that it's been wildly successful for the Packers this year.
Every once in a while, but dude, like, it seemed like the Texans were they were prepared for that. Like,
yeah,
they always had a man on the edge, like sitting back, and I just felt like LaFleur like got too cute again. Like, this is what I talked about last week. Is like this game plan, play calling. It's like 1 week it'll be great, and then the next week, like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, and I also need to make a distinction between bad play calling and things not working. Every time something doesn't work, we call it bad play calling. We don't know if it was bad play calling. You don't even know what the play call was. We don't know. The point is, this was the number 2 defense in football, so yeah, your success rate's going to be a lot lower. Things you're trying to do are not going to work as well as other weeks, and it's not because the play calling got worse. It's because the defense was better at stopping you from doing it. That doesn't mean he didn't have some bad play calls. I did not like the end around on 3rd and 1. Didn't like it. Now, if it had worked, guess what? We all would have loved it. But it didn't, so we didn't like it. But still, just from a philosophy standpoint, I didn't care for it. And I think that's the biggest thing. You have to have a philosophical belief in something in order to say that the play calling was bad. In other words, here's what I believe should happen in this situation, and you didn't do it, and here's why I think you should have. I don't think we're really doing that. I think a lot of time was when Matt LaFleur gets critiqued, sometimes he deserves it, it's not because Matt LaFleur did anything wrong, it's just we're seeing things not work and we get upset about it. And that's to be expected against the number 2 defense in football.
Thanks, man. And I feel like we kind of got held back with the play calling in the first half, and even at times in the second half, it was a little bit better in the second half. But I'm just really hoping they can clean some of these things up, man. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, dude, go back up.
Yeah, and again, I don't really have much else to add to that. I just think, we got to distinguish between bad play calling and things just not working. Sometimes it's execution, sometimes it's play calling, sometimes it's just a really good defense. And I think we just saw a really good defense. And again, we had a hard time passing. It was very difficult. Even when the passing was working, a lot of it was like skin-tight coverage on Romeo Doubs with a perfectly placed ball. It's really hard to end up, converting and succeeding. And then you try to run the ball, and there's really nowhere to go. And it was tough. I mean, Josh Jacobs did a good job. He ended up with, I don't know what it was, over 6 yards per carry. I think as a team, it was well below that. It was 4.3 or something. There was some success, but it was tough. It was tough sledding, and you got to dig into your bag once in a while. You got to try some stuff. And we love when Matt's in his bag and it's working. But when Matt gets in his bag and it doesn't work, we say he's being too cute and we don't like it and he needs to stop. So, it's probably similar to Jordan Love, right? If Jordan Love is slinging it and he's throwing these risky passes and it's working, we love it. And if he's throwing risky passes and it doesn't work, then we say he's too risky. He's got to tamp it down. So I don't know. Tough to figure out how to make it all work, I guess. But I think the blanket critique of Matt LaFleur is, I guess unfair would be the only word I could think of. Bro, you going to make me like hit the bleep button 100 times here? What are we talking about? I'm kind of nervous about I'm trying to read through this real quick. All right. Beer Cheese Benny called in his first call, happiest call I've ever heard in my life. The next one, fine, moderate, whatever. I just see, well, we'll find out. We'll see how it goes. This is what we're ending on, so make it good. Go out with a bang here.
Ryan, dude, I'm sorry. Okay, Beer Cheese Benny again. Daniel Whelan. All right.
Yeah.
Is there such thing as an award for punter of the year? I don't know if that's a thing or not.
Know.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But if it is, Daniel Whelan, he deserves it. Also, he's probably MVP of that game, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that dude just freaking, like, the thing about it is, it's like a lot of guys can kick it far, and LaFleur actually noted this in the press conference. A lot of guys can kick it far, but they outkick their gunners and stuff like that. But this dude, he gets the hang time and he gets the distance, and man, pretty much, to be honest with you, he kind of saved our asses. Besides the fact that our defense did really good, man. Like honestly, I was so impressed. Like, just to hold C.J. Stroud to those numbers, I think that was like his worst game of his career so far, dude. Because he was terrible, man. Also, Stephon Diggs, he's a little baby girl bitch. And you know what, dude? We freaking held him to basically doing nothing.
Yeah, dude got shut out for sure.
And so he talked all that shit for no reason, started a fight before the game. Yeah, I don't like that guy, man. I guess he's always been a problem between Jair and all of that. And so, whatever, keep hating, bro. We're better, we won, haha. You have to go back to freaking Houston, Texas. But yeah, trying to remember my train of thought here. Oh yeah, dude, the whiteout thing, man. You know, I was kind of against the uniforms only because of the helmet, and I know a lot of people talked about this with the stripe. But you know what?
That is a weird thing for. I've only very briefly seen it or whatever, but it's like I understand liking it and not liking it. I don't understand hating it, but thinking it would be perfect if it had a yellow stripe down the middle. It might be better. I don't know, but it's just a weird thing to get super hung up on. I don't know. Some people seem to be really upset about it.
It was on TV. It looked pretty awesome, man. And what I loved, and I didn't think this would happen. I really did not. I wanted the Lambeau field to just be a sea of white, just a whiteout. Because if we're wearing the white jerseys, the fans, come on, we have to step it up and wear the white, right? And they really did, and I didn't think they would, to tell you the truth.
I agree.
I didn't think they would, but it looked awesome. Looked awesome on TV, seeing everybody in white jerseys. I wonder how many of those people are like, oh, it's white out, like, and then they just went to the pro shop and bought white jerseys. So I wonder about that. I hope this is my last voicemail.
It is.
I might call in later in the week. Love ya. Go Pack Go. Happy Victory Monday. Love you all.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. Not that it's super hard for people to be able to find some kind of a white shirt somewhere. It might not be Packers, but you assume people want to wear their jerseys. They want to wear a Packers shirt. They want to wear Packers hats. If everybody had that much white Packers stuff, I mean, I suppose maybe a lot of people have those too, a white T-shirt with a green logo on it or whatever. But no, it really was impressive to see that much white in the stands on relatively short notice. Now, maybe they knew it when they bought their tickets. I don't know. But I heard about it, maybe a week prior, 2 weeks prior, something like that. And I'm thinking, yeah, people aren't going to be getting all white gear. Sure enough, though, they showed the stadium, and it was a lot of white. Fans did a good job, man. Fans were loud. Fans punched Texans players in the face when they tried to do Lambeau leaps, and they all wore white for the whiteout. It was a fantastic performance. I'll be here all week. All right, you guys have a good rest of your night. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.